If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Christine McIver.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I am the host of the Inspired Choices show, Christine McIver. We have another fabulous show for you tonight. Get ready for me to kick your butt a little bit. I'm just saying, just get ready, just get comfortable with it. But it's going to be that good pain, that pain that you really need to move you and your business forward. And I'm telling you that this show is something that I speak about all of the time, but personally, everything I'm going to share tonight, I have most definitely moved through. And I can't wait to give you some insight into why it is so important to pat your own damn back. Bitch, pat your own damn back. This is so important and fun to say, but it is so important for every person, whether you are in business or not. This is such a critical aspect of your journey in creation, and everything that you do in your life, you are in creation. So welcome to tonight's show. You are definitely going to be in for a humdinger of a show tonight. And before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I am Christine McIver. I'm a business development specialist. I have been doing my own business for, 14 years, I believe that I'm in. And I am also someone who works with entrepreneurs for around strategy, around planning, around growth, and around a lot of challenges. I'm also the founder and owner of the Inspired Choices Network. If you're listening from any of our 250 platforms other than the Inspired Choices Network, this is our home base. So you can find me at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can find me across social media platforms. Just type in Christine McIver, that's McIver, or you can email me if you have any questions about tonight's show or any of my other shows. It's Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. That's Christine with a CH. So one of the things that I really am very lit up about in life is giving people hope and really inspiring them to see that it doesn't matter how bad it gets. Hope is always possible. And I do that primarily under the umbrella of business. But most things that I do say here on my show, and I've been doing my show since 2011, so I am actually in my 11th year of doing my show. Mostly what I'm saying, you can apply all of these philosophies to your life, to relationships, and a lot of it to mental health, because I do know that everything is connected. If we're not taking care of our mental health, if we're not taking care of our physical health, that is going to spill over into relationships. If we're not taking care of relationships, that's going to spill over into our mental health. It's going to flow over into our careers, into our bank accounts, into our businesses. And it's definitely going to set the precedence for what our life looks like. And I deeply desire to have you make choices in your life that are inspired, that are come from within, that really speak to the truth of who you are. And I know that many of us struggle. I know I've struggled many times in my life. And this most definitely is a show about how it's so important for you to pat your own back and why that's going to make a difference in your life. So let's jump into tonight's show. So when was the last time you actually took the time to pat your own damn back? Like, seriously, can you even think of that? Can you even think of when the last time was? Most probably wouldn't be able to think of one. We are in a world filled with a great deal of suffering and the lack. It is true. It is around us. And we've been taught to give and to give to those less fortunate than ourselves. That's kind, they said. But what about you? What about you? You are suffering. You are in need. Your suffering is just as valid, and it is your responsibility to end it. It's not anyone else's responsibility. And at the risk of getting people angry at me, it is every individual person's responsibility, regardless of their placement in life, their lack in life, their challenges in life. It is their responsibility. They have the primary responsibility to take care of their own selves. And it's not to say that we don't also support and we're kind and generous with others, but this responsibility must come first in our own lives, and it must come first in our businesses. So many entrepreneurs try to do more to survive, and the last thing they are often thinking about is patting their own selves. Tonight's show, I'm going to show you many reasons why that must be a top priority for your business and your life success. So seriously, if you're listening live, I would love to know, do you remember the last time you patted your own back? I really want you to get into that space of seeing how that's not something that we do all of the time. And it's certainly not something that we do enough. You know, I can be a real jokester, and a lot of my friends and my colleagues and business associates know that I love to laugh. I love to joke around all the time. And when I'm connecting with people online, like I often do, and I'll be doing something and I'll accomplish it, and I'll go, damn, that was good. Good for you, Christine. And I'll say things like that to myself. And at first, it was quite funny, and they would laugh. And then it was interesting how it kept coming up. Like, it wasn't a super conscious, an hour in advance of, oh, I'm going to say this. It just kind of came through. And I started to really look at that. And this is where this show has come through from that space of, I actually do that, and really looking at it consciously around, why am I doing that and what the benefit is in doing that. So let's look at what it is that holds us back from patting our own back, from acknowledging and really owning our successes. It's so funny. Most of us do not own our own successes. Okay, we have somebody in the chat room just said that. It was so funny about what I said when I'm talking out loud. She says, when I address myself in conversation, it's usually to call out an error, right? That is absolutely one of the most common things, is we are looking to criticize ourselves or to catch ourselves doing something wrong, because we have associated success oftentimes with perfection. So we only have eyes for error, right? We only have eyes for error. And we are trying so deeply to be perfect and to succeed that we believe if we could get better at something, if we could get more perfect at something, we will succeed. So we have bought into the bullshit of beating ourselves verbally, emotionally, mentally around what we have done wrong or what we have not yet done. And I am telling you right now, that is absolutely the 100% wrong direction to go in. I am not saying that I don't look at things that I mess up on, and I mess up. Every single human being is going to mess up. I mess up all of the time. Okay. But when I mess up, I go, okay. And, even with my team, like, when we're doing our shows and we're producing other people, we make errors. And my team is often so like, I'm so sorry I did that. And they beat themselves up. And I'm like, that is not something to beat yourself up about. Now, it's not that I don't have standard operating procedures and that I really do want them to do the very, very best I possibly can so that we are meeting our standards and providing top quality work. That, of course, is important to me. However, in the process of that, I am not going to put energy into, quote unquote, beating somebody up or criticizing a mistake if honestly, learning from that mistake will help them to move forward. What would the world actually be like if we praised more than we criticized, right? Go back to a time with your child, or when you were a child, perhaps you have a recall of this, and go back to that moment where you acknowledge them. You really acknowledge them, and you they were so like, their eyes were like saucers, and they're looking at you and they're intently listening for the next word and the next word and the next word that you would say, and what that did for their self-worth, and how you or someone for you had you see the brilliance of who you were. Now, this is not something that many of us actually experienced as a young child, especially if we're, the boomers are older than the boomers. I guess nobody's older than the boomers that's likely still alive, but you get my point. There's not too many that are. But my point is that we were taught, a lot of times, many of us were taught to work hard and to succeed, and don't screw up, don't, there's a saying that on these TV shows now, don't fuck that up, don't fuck it up, and it's like, pay attention, pay attention, of course, pay attention. But the thing of it is that when we create the energy of confidence and excitement and possibilities, we will excel more, because we're moving towards something, not afraid of something. So, there's this really quick little story I'll tell you. The very first business that I was ever in was Alouette Cosmetics. And the founder rather, of Alouette Cosmetics had a young daughter. And she told this story because this was her name was Trisha Deffenbaugh. And this was her philosophy, to really pay attention to the details of where people create and succeed. And her young daughter, I don't know how old she was, maybe she was 10 years old. She made chocolate chip cookies once on her own for her mother. And her mother, when she returned home and she saw these chocolate chip cookies, she went through every step that this child had to do in order to make these chocolate chip cookies. And her daughter just sat there. Her name is Jen. And she just sat there with her eyes wide open, listening. Like our mother said, so then you had to get out the bowls, and you had to make sure that this bowl was this size and this bowl was this size, and you got out your measuring spoons, and she went through all these details. Do you know that child for years made chocolate chip cookies every single week? Every single week. Now, I don't know whether they got sick of them or not, but she demonstrated. I was just a young woman when I heard her tell this story. I was 21 years old, and I heard that story and I was like, that is so wild and so important to see how, when we put our energy and our focus on acknowledging success, and success can be even our effort and our steps, when we put the energy there, as opposed to, well, you got 95 on your test. Well, what happened to the other 5 marks? I know that's a joke, but saying that crap to people is bullshit. It pisses me off. It makes me want to flip out. Like, seriously, I'm someone that struggled in school. Now, I know I'm brilliant, but school wasn't my thing all the time. And so I really struggled. So when I actually got a B, or my God, if I got an A in school, I was over the moon. Right? I was over the moon. So you say that to someone, you start to really break them down. You break them down, and it can be devastating. And those types of experiences can follow us through our lives and impact our mental health our entire life. Let's change that, shall we? Let's create a world where we are in that space of patting our own back and seeing how doing that is creating joy in our lives and the people around us. So, my friends, we're up for our first break. Please do come back. I have a great many things that I want to share with you. And together, I know that we can create something that's absolutely marvelous with patting our own back. So you are listening to Inspired Choices. I'm your host, Christine McIver. I can't wait to see you on the other side.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome, my friends. Thank you so much for being here. If you've just joined us, you definitely want to go back and listen to the first segment because it really is going to set the stage for how important it is that we are paying attention to our own accomplishments and what kind of, I guess I spoke to what not to do and how your responsibility in your success really stems from what I'm talking about tonight. So if you have any questions or you'd like to join us live, come on over to InspiredChoicesNetwork.com and join us in the chat room. You'll see that on the menu bar. If you're not able to join live and you're listening on one of our 250 platforms, you can email me rather at Christine at InspiredChoices.ca. All right, let's get back to tonight's show. So what is going on when we're not patting our own back? Human beings still, one of our primary desires in being a human being is connection. Connection is one of our primary sources that we're looking to have that need filled, right? It is so, so vital for our success, for even our mental health and our bodies to thrive. You know, I'm sure you've heard about skin on skin when a baby is born, that touching and that acknowledgement and how crucial that is. I know there's a lot of statistics out there around hugging and around being acknowledged. I'm sorry, I don't know them off the top of my head, but they're really very, very important. But what most of us are doing, and most of us are doing this for, I'll tell you the reasons why that we're doing this, is we're seeking validation or acknowledgement from someone else. So here's kind of what I've experienced and what I've seen with other people is that a young child, when a young baby is born, they are not looking for much from anyone else except food and love, food and like hugging. When a child does something, they're in this curious state. They're in this excitement state. When they do something that lights them up, they're just lit up. You know, I've seen so many videos of young children hearing music and they just start dancing and they're having so much fun and they're just in it. They're in it, they're enjoying it, and they're creating their own experience. What starts to occur with us adults around these young children is we start to give them a lot of praise. We start to give them, as young children, we start to give them a lot of praise and a lot of acknowledgement. And we do it from the space of how we feel about them. And this is where things go off the rails. So we oftentimes will look at our children and we will say, I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of what you've acknowledged. Oh, mommy's so proud of you. Daddy's so proud of you. Come here, give me a hug. Come here, let's go. I'm going to buy you a gift. You did so well. Or I'm going to take you out for ice cream. You did so well, right? And so we attach the accomplishment to a reward outside of the individual, of the child. So then the child goes off to school. The child goes off to school and they get into our environment, our education system now, and they start to be acknowledged. Like, look at how good Jimmy did. Like, everybody should follow what Jimmy did. Or, we are acknowledged. We're acknowledging these children in a positive way, or we are being disciplined oftentimes in front of our peers. And so, we all know what that does. I'm not going to get into that. But what we are doing is we're setting these children up for a lifetime of looking for acknowledgement outside of ourselves. I know I can't remember this movie, but I remember watching a movie where a young teen was being acknowledged by an adult. And the young teen was like, all right, thanks. And the adult was very surprised, like, why aren't you like happy about my acknowledgement? And they kind of came back. It sounded flippant, but you'll get it in this context. Like, they came back, this young man came back and said, how happy you are about what I've accomplished doesn't matter to me. And it sounds rude, but it's brilliant, because that young man was not looking for the acknowledgement outside of himself. He was looking for the acknowledgement within him. And so he wasn't looking for any other people to validate him. So how many times do we accomplish something, and the first thing that we do is we look around, either physically or in our minds, like, who can I tell this to? Who can I share this with? Who, right? And we're looking to share this so we get something back in return, right? Do you know why we're doing that? What's underneath that need for validation is a sense of lack. We are operating from the space of lack. We do not have that intrinsic motivation, that intrinsic love towards ourselves. And we are lacking that. And underneath the lack is fear that we are not good enough. We've been programmed to believe that acknowledgments from others is the only way or the best way to get a pat on the back. And it's the way that will create joy in our lives. It's the way that will get us jobs. It's the way that will get us prosperity. And that's all a lie. It's 100% a lie. That is not what happens. Let me paint you a quick picture. Imagine you're interviewing somebody to babysit your children or to work for your company, right? You're interviewing them and they're sitting there and they've got the energy of, oh my gosh, I hope they choose me. Oh my God. And they've got that energy. Now it may not be as extensive as I'm carrying on, but they've got this energy of, I'm not good enough. And then you have an individual that walks in and they sit with their shoulders back and they're confident and they're happy and they're present. Who are you going to want to hire? Who are you going to want to hire? You're going to want to hire the second person, the person that is confident, the person that has a knowing of themselves. They have self-awareness around who they are and their value. So the last few shows here on my platform, I've been talking about your value, and the patting of the back is connected to your value. The value of you has so much to do with your peace of mind, with your success, and with your financial position in your life. And this part around patting your back can start to raise your energy around the value that you see in yourself. This is patting your own back, acknowledging for yourself is actually a stepping stone to raising the way you value yourself and see yourself contributing in the world. So how many of you want to put your hand up now and say, hey, I want to learn how to pat my back. I want to learn why this is important and how I can do this in a way that doesn't have me really feel like I'm being arrogant. Well, the first thing I want you to know around the arrogant piece is if you are questioning that you're going to be arrogant about something, you're not going to be arrogant. A person who is actually genuinely arrogant and boastful is not someone that actually worries that they're going to be, boastful. All right. So that's not going to be you. The person that is strong with themselves, that they have that self-awareness of, I'm doing an amazing job. Like I'm really accomplishing something, that changes the world. That changes the world for themselves, and it changes the world for other people. If you desire to change something, to expand something, to grow something in your world, if you desire to contribute to the world around you, please listen in. This is such an important piece that most businesses don't pay any attention to it. And when you can have the confidence that someone on your team is self-aware and is very proud of who they are, and they don't have a desire to get you to validate them, that's where you're building a strong person in your organization. And when you can do that for yourself, when you can start to acknowledge the brilliance that you are, the amazingness that you are, the capacities that you have, the understanding of how you've grown, your self-awareness on, you know what, I've been doing me, I've been healing me, I've been growing, I've been learning, I am doing what it takes, I don't stop, I might fall down, I keep getting up. When you can have that energy with yourself every single day, you are going to have bumps on the road, but you are going to rebound faster and easier with less bruises than you ever have before. And my friend, keep in mind that the journey of a human being is not about coming down here and sitting on a mountain and eating bonbons. That's not what it's about. You've come here to learn and to grow and to experience and to interact and connect with other people that are learning and growing. That's what you came here. You came to a planet with nearly 8 billion people to connect and to learn and to grow. And it's okay when you bump your nose. It's okay as long as you continue to step forward and step up to the plate to create that life that is waiting for you. And when you can do this, from the space of self-acknowledgement and patting your own back and internal validation of who you are and your brilliance, this journey is going to become so much more fun. And who the hell does want more fun, right? Can I get a hell yeah? Listen, this is something that I am very passionate about, and it's been one of the biggest things that I've actually been doing with myself for the last number of years. I would say the last 3 or 4 years. I kind of had, the mountain, I was up and then, I started to slide down and had some tough times, but the tough times started to teach me more about what was required for me to really step up even more. And so this part around self-acknowledgement and patting my own back has been a big, big piece in really supporting me to grow into who I'm meant to be here on the planet. So I'm thrilled that you're here. I've got so much more to share with you. We're going to pop over and have our second break. And when we get back, I'm going to start to show you some of the things that we're doing and how we can really step into way more of patting our own back. So you're listening to Inspired Choices. I'm your host, Christine McIver. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here. We are having so much fun tonight, and this is definitely a show that I think is a game changer, can be a game changer for so many people and their businesses. So let me ask you a question. When we were talking about when was the last time that you patted your own back, do you know what I'm aware of? We actually have a refusal to celebrate. We have a refusal to celebrate our own successes. Think of a time when maybe somebody wanted to compliment you, or someone wanted to celebrate your birthday, or someone wanted to, throw a celebration, a party for you. How many times would you have actually said, yes, I'm so excited? Or did you actually go into refusing that? Did you go into this ridiculously stupid, pathetic place and say, no, I don't want you to make a big deal. It's not that big of a deal. No. Just ignore it. No, I don't like, I don't like the fuss, right? We actually refuse to be celebrated, and we refuse to celebrate. We actually hold back the candy. Celebration is the candy in life, right? I don't know who don't like candy, because I like candy, but we really do. We hold back celebrating. Or if we do celebrate, we celebrate for just a little while, like maybe a minute. We celebrate for a minute because we oftentimes, I've watched people do it, I've done it myself, we get uncomfortable. We get uncomfortable in celebrating. When we're getting uncomfortable in celebrating, we're actually refusing to squeeze the fullness out of life. We're refusing to squeeze the joy, the juice, the things that will actually, when you're celebrating, you're actually bringing that back in, that energetic juice that will inspire you and motivate you and move you forward to the next space of creation, of accomplishment. We actually will only celebrate if we celebrate for just a little bit. And the really interesting thing is that when we are doing that, so again, I oftentimes like to use children as an example. When we are refusing to celebrate or celebrate for just a minute, our children are watching us, our clients are watching us, our team members are watching us, and we are teaching them that that's not something to do. Nobody likes to be uncomfortable. And so when we're going into that space and others are watching us, they are picking up the unconscious message that celebrating is arrogant. And that is the biggest fucking lie. Celebrating is not arrogant. Celebrating is bringing in the joy in life. And celebrating is actually the space of saying, I want to take the moment to acknowledge the choices that I've made. I want to take the moment to really look at what I have done, and what an amazing space of pleasure this has created in me. I'm just looking up something. I want to actually give you the meaning, the original definition of the word arrogant. And just give me 1 second and I will have this here. So to be arrogant is disposed to give oneself undue importance and aggressively haughty. That's what it says. So it's overbearing. It's really to claim for oneself and assume. It's this space of, I think the biggest part of what this is to give oneself undue importance. When you are accomplishing something, it is not undue importance. It's important. To celebrate is important. But when we are in that space of refusing or only doing it for a minute, what is under that? What is actually under that is the lack or the fear that it's not real. Or for some people, if I actually celebrate, maybe I'm going to chase it away. Maybe I won't ever accomplish that again. I don't want to create a big deal, because one of the biggest reasons why people don't want to create a big deal with their accomplishments is that they don't believe that they did it. They don't believe that it was really just them, and that it's something that they can actually take ownership of. They believe that it, oftentimes, subconsciously or consciously, they believe that it was just a fluke. They believe that it was just a fluke. When you have lack of belief in yourself, how are you operating throughout your day? How do you operate in parenting? How do you operate in friendships? How do you operate in relationships? And certainly, how do you operate in your business? When you do not have the self-confidence and the praise within yourself for your brilliance, why would anyone else ever want to connect with you, work with you, be with you, grow from you, learn from you? And how in the world, when you do not have that self-confidence, not arrogance, when you don't have that self-confidence and that acknowledgement that you are creating brilliantly in the world, how are you then adding to the world? How are you then creating a world where the energy is love and creation? Because bottom line, when you are acknowledging yourself, you're giving yourself love. You are giving yourself love. That's your responsibility. It's not someone else's responsibility to love you. There are many that do, but it's not their responsibility. It's like filling up your cup. You know, if I walk around, if you're seeing me on video, my glass is about, I don't know, a quarter full of water. If I'm walking around asking for water from everybody else, and I'm not willing to fill up my own cup and fill up my own water glass, then I could get very thirsty very, very quickly. And unfortunately, that's what's going on with a lot of people, is they're empty. They're empty inside, and they're looking for things outside of themselves. Well, again, that's lack energy, that's fear energy. And that lack and fear, how is that being a magnet for more people to want to connect and work with you, and to really have trust in what you say that you're going to deliver, right? People hire people that they know and they trust. And if you do not have the confidence, you're actually saying, I'm not trustworthy. I'm not trustworthy to follow through, because I'm in the space of lack, and I'm in the space of fear. So this self-acknowledgement is so critical, right? When we're doing this, when we're not giving ourselves this acknowledgement, with this praise, we're actually denying ourselves. We're denying our bodies. We're denying our mental health. And we're denying the world of our greatness. We're denying across the board in a way that is creating more lack in the world. We have enough people that believe the sky is falling, that believe that there is so much terribleness in the world. And don't get me wrong, There is plenty, plenty, plenty of places that we can expand and get better at. I believe that wholeheartedly. But there's also a lot of beauty in the world. There's a lot of amazing people doing a lot of amazing things in the world. And I'm actually one of them. Are you? Can you say that without feeling embarrassed or uncomfortable? And if you can't, it's okay. But my question to you is, are you willing to get uncomfortable with saying how amazing you really are so that you can actually move into that space of self-awareness and self-confidence, right? When we talk about self-confidence, we oftentimes are seeing someone, it's the way that they show up for others. They have the self-confidence to do something. But when we say that someone is selfish, that's more of an internal thing, right? But anything that has the word self in it is about that individual. It's not about how they show up for other people, right? If you have self-confidence, whether someone's in front of you or not, you believe in yourself and you're showing up for yourself. You know, when you are actually doing that, you're also being an amazing example in the world for other people. You're actually inviting them to step into their greatness. You're being such a fabulous example for others that they begin, you know, it's that domino effect. When you see that self-worth matters, self-acknowledgement matters, and celebrating oneself can create a greater world, you start to really lean into what you're doing and what you're creating. I really want to talk about what some of the things are that you can be doing to start to celebrate. If this is not something that's part of your world, it's the small steps that make such a big difference. And this can change very, very quickly, my friends. And the very cool thing about this, as you are changing this about you, that you start to do that self-awareness and that self-acknowledgement and celebrating, and you're patting your own back. As you begin to do that, you start to create a much more prosperous life, a much more prosperous business, and you start to attract people. You become a magnet, right? Because the energy shifts from fear and lack, which is a low energy, right? It's a very low vibrating energy, to a very much higher, much more hopeful and possibilities and joyful energy. And that is attractive. That says to other people, hey, there's something exciting going on over here. There's something amazing going on over here. And simultaneously, you start to see your value in a way that you've never seen before. And as you begin to see your value, others start to see your value. You no longer have to do merely push or the uncomfortable sales conversation. You show up and you say with confidence and knowing, strong internal knowing, this is what I do. This is what our team does. This is what we deliver. And people go, wow, I can see that, because the energy, remember, our first language is energy. Whether you realize this or not, people are picking up on your energy, even the way you send a text. Even the way you send a text. I swear to you, the way my phone rings, I can tell what's going on with somebody. I can pick up on it. It's something that I've been really paying attention to is my intuition, but we are all picking it up, whether we're consciously working on increasing our ability with intuition or not. Okay. So the way you show up in the world, honestly, just for you, changes the entire game, changes it all. All right, we're going to hop over to our final break of the show. I can't believe this went so quickly. And when we get back, I'm going to give you some steps on how you can begin to change this, and you can up-level it. And I don't care how up-leveled you feel you are with your self-acknowledgement and your patting on your back. Every single one of us can up that even more. And I'm saying that to all of you and to myself. So come back. You don't want to miss this last segment. You're listening to Inspired Choices. I'm your host, Christine McIver. We'll see you on the other side.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with Coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Inspired Choices Show with Coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@InspiredChoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, my friends. Thank you so much for joining. Before I get into this last segment, I just want to tell you that if you are someone in business who is looking to really up-level your business, one of the best things that you can do is start to set a strategy to lay out a real strong, solid plan for your business, both with your finances, with your creation, and how you are showing up with a real deep dive view into all these pieces and how they really create your success going forward. This is something I love to do with business owners. Is I love to do a strategy session. Now, the strategy session that I usually do, they are usually 7 weeks. 7 weeks what we will get together once a week and we will really work on it. I'm going to hold you accountable to what you say you want to accomplish, and we're going to lay out step-by-step actions to have you move in that direction. One of the greatest ways to succeed is to be held accountable. And most people are really terrible at holding themselves accountable. I have a coach. I've had coaches for years. I've had many different coaches. And I know that if it wasn't for people holding me accountable and showing me a different possibility and really having me stretch myself, that I would be succeeding where I am today. So I want to invite you into the possibility of working with me. Send me an email, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca, or go over to inspiredchoices.ca. That is my personal website. And you will see everything that we could possibly be looking at from a strategic perspective for your business. I would love to hear from you, even if you just have some questions. All right. So let's get back into what we're talking about now. So this is the next segment. It's really looking at how can I, Christine, really up-level that acknowledgement and pat my own back. Well, first of all, I want you to acknowledge that you're likely going to be uncomfortable in this process. That's okay. What we're doing is we are changing the programming in your mind and in your belief system around what it means to do the self-acknowledgement work. It's okay. And if you're not sharing this with anybody out of the gate, no problem, right? Because this is about your internal work. But this is critical, as I've been saying throughout the show, this is critical to do this work. So the very first thing that I want you to begin to do is in the moment when you succeed at something, whatever that something is. Maybe you have a desire to, make your bed every single day, and most days you never make it, but that one day you make it. I want you to celebrate that. It's silly. Yep, it's silly, but this is about a new muscle. So celebrate it. Go, oh my gosh, this looks so beautiful. I'm so happy I actually followed through and I did this. good on me, right? You just take that second, just that little second and acknowledge it. Okay. So then maybe there is something else. What are the things that you would like? What's your morning routine that you would like to be accomplishing every day, right? Is it getting up and going for a walk? Is it having some quiet time and meditation? Is it spending time with a family member? Is it playing with children? Is it journaling? What is it that your morning routine you'd like to have in your morning routine that perhaps you kind of keep going off the rails on? When you actually follow through, when you do it, I want you to go, yes, okay, cool. This is awesome. Started my day with my morning routine. This feels good. So acknowledge yourself in that and actually say that to yourself. This feels good, because guess what? We want to feel good. And so when we're actually even saying that out loud to ourselves, we're starting to plant those seeds in our mind, and we're changing what we're choosing, right? It all comes down to choice. Every single thing comes down to choice. So there's some very small steps that to begin to do that. As you are going throughout your day, if you're someone like myself who has a book where you're writing in your tasks for the day, or you're doing that on your computer, I've said this before. If you take one of your favorite colors and you use it and you highlight the things that you accomplish, it's throughout your day, you're going to be drawn to those things that you're accomplished. And that is going to make you feel more like you've accomplished more, that you're more succeeding, as opposed to when we're just checking off. What we usually see are that we're looking for the places we didn't check off. So again, let's change your focus. Let's change your mindset around that. And then this is very, very important. At the end of your day, or at the beginning of the next day, I want you to spend 5 minutes minimum reviewing the day. Review what you accomplished. Review the conversations you had. Review everything that you moved through, right? Maybe you had a really awful, tough day, but you got on the other side of it. That is something to celebrate. Like, oh my gosh, I was so sad yesterday and I felt like shit and I was just crying and I didn't want to do anything. But you know what? I showed up and I had a coaching call with my client. I did it. I showed up. Celebrate. Some days that's what to celebrate. But when you are reviewing your day, I want you to do this. Promise yourself this. Write this down. What you want to do is you want to review and look for the gold. 80%. I want you to spend 80% of your time in your review of that day looking for the gold. All right. 80% focusing on what you accomplished and what was great in that day. You're changing that mindset, and which is critical. And only 20% on what could I have done? What is important that I make sure I do today? And where could I have done something even better than I did already? All right. 80% on the gold, my friends. That's what's going to begin to change this. Then what I want you to do is I want you to start celebrating each day. Do something to love you up. Celebrate. Maybe you give yourself a beautiful glass of wine. Maybe you give yourself a beautiful hot bath at the end of the day. Maybe you watch your favorite show, or you snuggle with your beautiful pet, or you laugh with your children, or you get on the phone with a girlfriend and just really are present with them. Whatever you do, I want you to celebrate each and every day. If you're not spending time celebrating, where is your energy? Where is your hope? Where is your joy? And remember, money follows joy. Money follows celebration. This is important for your bank account. It's so critical. And it's critical if we're going to change the lack in the world. So here's something that I do. I buy myself a birthday present every year. I've already bought myself one. There's a second one coming in. There might be a third one. And I am celebrating me. Here I am, another year. And each year keeps getting better and better. My friends, it's so important that you keep celebrating. Buy yourself a special present. Buy yourself a celebration present for whatever it is. But understand that what's going on inside of you is coming out of you. And if you've got sadness in there, that's what's coming out. But if you've got love and you've got acknowledgement and you've got confidence, that's what's going to come through in the world. And that's where you're going to be creating the success in your life and in your business. Until next time, my friends, remember,
Thank you
can
for
always
choosing
make
to
another
listen to
choice.
Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.